The iPhone 12, 12 mini, and 12 Pro Max were the first iPhones of this newer Apple design. Released in 2020, you might be surprised to hear that they are actually not all that different from the current iPhone 14 line. So let's take a look at the specs, the performance, the features, and see if the iPhone 12 makes sense for you and where you can get one in 2023. So this whole video came from the idea that I wanted to pick up an iPhone 12 Pro for a couple of very specific reasons. It's been some time since I've used an iPhone 12 Pro, and I wanted it for some beta testing and for an upcoming video that will feature, well, I actually don't want to tell you about that just yet, but this iPhone 12 Pro got me thinking about the whole iPhone 12 line. The iPhone 12 is the oldest iPhone Apple sells brand new on the Apple Store. And even though you can't get the 12 mini or the 12 Pro brand new from Apple, there are other options to get one. You can pick up an iPhone 12 mini or 12 renewed from Amazon right now, starting at just $300 for the mini and about $400 for the regular sized iPhone 12. This mini and this 12 I have right here are renewed devices, and they came in fantastic condition, actually really good for used devices. This iPhone 12 mini basically came almost perfect. It looks like it lived in a case for all of its life so far. You can see a little bit of scuffing around the edges where the case might have rubbed on it, but other than that, it looks really good. The screen was basically scratch-free, and the back was also scratch-free, so overall the 12 mini came in very, very good condition. The iPhone 12 came in a little bit rougher shape. You can see right here, there's a ding on the edge right here, and there's a couple of other dings around the edges as well. So it's not in as good of shape. It definitely looks okay. It's not perfect, but you know what? It is a used iPhone, so what can you do? The back does look perfect. I don't see any scratches or dings or marks on the back, so that looks pretty good. If you're looking for a renewed version of the 12 Pro, you can find that on Amazon for about $560, or if you're looking for the Pro Max, you can get that for about $670. For this 12 Pro, I actually decided to pick one up directly from Apple's refurbished site for about $680, which is only $60 more than buying a 12 brand new from Apple. The difference between using the refurb store from Apple and renewed from Amazon is going to come down to the warranty and maybe the condition of the device. The Amazon devices have a 90-day warranty, and the condition can be a range of good to great, like I showed you. With the Apple refurb, it basically looks brand new and has a battery with 100 or near 100% health, and it has a full 1-year warranty from Apple. So, trade-offs. Now, if you can remember back to 2020, the iPhone 12 was the first iPhone to ship without a power adapter in the box. So whether you bought it brand new or you buy it refurbished from Apple or from some other third-party site, you're probably going to have to pick up some kind of power adapter to charge this guy up. And that's where today's sponsor, Ugreen, comes in. The Ugreen Nexode 30-watt charger is a compact and powerful charger built on GaN 2. This charger supports fast charging on iPhones and Samsung super fast charging, which means I can charge my iPhone 14 Pro Max up to 55% in just 30 minutes. Not only does the plug fold up into itself for an easier fit in your pocket or bag, but the Nexode protects your devices with built-in short circuit, overload, overvoltage, and temperature protection. Yes, this 30-watt Nexode can fast charge your iPhone wired, but it can also be used with MagSafe for fast wireless charging. It can charge your iPads and tablets, and it can even charge your MacBook and more. You can get one of these Ugreen Nexode 30-watt chargers today and save 30% with a Prime exclusive discount using the link and information in the description below. And my thanks to Ugreen for sponsoring this video. So the iPhone 12 does not look that different from the iPhone 14 line, and that's because of this flatter, squared-off edge design that started with the iPhone 12 and continues today. Of course, the iPhone 14 Pro I have right here has the dynamic island up top versus the notch on the 12. But other than that, it can be really difficult to actually find a significant difference between these two devices. Of course, the design is not the only first for the iPhone 12 line. There are a lot of other things that you'll find on the iPhone 14 that started with the iPhone 12. Starting with the front of the iPhone 12s, we have the ceramic shield covering the display, which Apple says is 4 times more resistant to breaking than previous glass. And underneath the ceramic shield, the iPhone 12's got an OLED display on the entire line with up to 1200 nits of peak brightness with HDR, which is the exact same brightness of the 14 and 14 Plus. Now size-wise, from the Mini to the Max, the displays are 5.4 inches, 6.1 inches, and 6.7 inches. And in most use cases, you can't see a difference between the displays on the 12 and 12 Pro compared to the 14 line. The displays just look great in almost all lighting, and I can't complain about them. On the backside of the iPhone 12s is where MagSafe entered the iPhone line with up to 15 watts of wireless charging using a MagSafe certified device, along with a Squircle camera bump and camera bezel bump and lens bump. Yep, 3 bumps, but it's what's in the bumps that matter, right? And the cameras in the iPhone 12 line are still pretty great. iPhone cameras have generally been pretty great for years, and we're now at the point where it's really hard to see the year-over-year differences between them. Well, how about a 2-year difference between the 12 and the 14? Sure, there are some differences in the focal distance and the apertures, but look at these and tell me what you think. In this first photo of the flower bed, besides the slightly different framing, I really can't tell the difference on my Mac between the 12 and the 14 Pro. In this second photo of the tree, I can see a difference in the dynamic range, with the 14 Pro doing a bit better, and the 12 has a bit of a bluish cast across the whole photo. And you can see that cast also in this flower thing. All cameras have some kind of bias in Apple Photos or Lightroom or whatever can help clean that up. In this studio shot, the 12 tries to brighten it up a little bit too much, but the 14 likes to keep the shadows a bit darker. The cameras on any of these devices are just good, and for a point-and-shoot person, you're not going to see much difference between the 12s and the later models. Of course, the Pros do get a few more features like zoom lens, OIS on more lenses, LiDAR, which can help with night shots, HDR, ProRAW with the 12 Pro, and the 14 Pro gets cinematic mode, action mode, macro, and maybe something else I can't remember. But for most people, for most photos, the 12s are going to look great. Now on the inside of the iPhone 12s is where it gets interesting, because 5G just got real.
The wait is over. 5G just got real.
The iPhone 12 line was the first iPhone to get the 5G wireless, which was supposed to revolutionize the world with high-speed, low-latency connections to allow doctors to remotely control robots to perform surgery on your insides. Yeah, that was the promise of 5G. Well, almost 3 years later, the revolution just hasn't happened. But sometimes you can get faster speeds. Depending on if you actually get connected to an ultra-wideband, you can actually see multi-gigabit speeds per second, which allow you to do so much with your iPhone, like downloading a podcast or watching YouTube videos or scrolling Instagram or... Wait, I don't think you need 2 gigabits per second to scroll Instagram or do really anything on these devices, but I guess it's nice to have, and you don't need an iPhone 14 to get it. Now, battery life was one of the iPhone 12's weak points. I think the general consensus is that it was not as good as it should have been, especially on the Mini, and that the 13 kind of fixed most of those issues. Apple says you should get 15 to 20 hours of video playback depending on your model, and I'm not sure how to interpret that. You may want to spend a couple extra dollars to pick up a MagSafe battery pack for days that you might need an extra boost. And now, the performance. The iPhone 12 line has the Apple A14 chip inside. All of the iPhone 12s have the same chip with a 6-core processor and a 4-core GPU. The 12 and the 12 mini have 4 gigabytes of memory, and the 12 Pro has 6 gigabytes of memory. The iPhone 14 and 14 Plus have the A15 chip inside, and the 14 Pro and Pro Max has the A16 and 6 gigabytes of memory. Looking at single-core performance using Geekbench 6, we can see that the iPhone 14 is only about 10% faster than the iPhone 12, and the 14 Pro is about 25% faster than the 12. With multi-core, you can see a bigger difference, with the A15 being about 33% faster than the A14, and with the A16 being about 50% faster. And if we move on to graphics, we can see there's about a 46 to 50% increase over the A13. So clearly, there is an upgrade in performance with the newer chips compared to what's in the iPhone 12 line, but those are really just generic benchmarks that don't always equate to real use. In regular use of the iPhone 12, searching the web, checking email, scrolling Twitter, writing notes, calendaring, taking or editing photos, watching videos, listening to podcasts, or whatever it is you do on your iPhone, it feels the same as the iPhone 14. It just does. The graphics power of the iPhone 12 is so good that I didn't even feel any slowdowns or lag when playing games like Call of Duty Mobile or NBA 2K23 or any other game. The iPhone just plays, and the day-to-day performance for everything you do will be just fine. I think that about covers the iPhone 12. Are there some other differences between the iPhone 12 line and 14? Sure, like satellite SOS, ProMotion on the Pro, crash detection, or dynamic island, but nothing that significantly changes the function or the use of the iPhone. So whether you're on a budget or you just don't care about having the latest and greatest tech, the iPhone 12 will do everything you need it to do. So what do you guys think? Are you looking at picking up an iPhone 12? Check my links below and leave me a comment below to let us know what you're doing. If you're interested in my thoughts on getting the M1 MacBook Air today, check this out right over here. Hit the thumbs up button if you liked it, hit subscribe if you want, and I'll see you next time.